going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Friday here for Investing Bros. You guys will notice I am not down in the basement. I am up in my office on crappy camera, no good microphone. I don't know why the basement computer wasn't really wanting to work this morning, but we're going to continue on because the show must go on. Hopefully soon I'll even have a good setup here in my office so that maybe this will be the permanent spot I shoot these shows from. But we got a lot to talk about today. As you guys could maybe detect in the thumbnail, in case you hadn't heard, we got an interesting comment from JP Morgan saying that the Bitcoin spot ETFs might not be as big a deal as a lot of people want them to be. Is that just more FUD from JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon, or is there any truth to it? We're going to talk about that and more. And of course, if you guys have been watching the charts, after yesterday briefly hitting new highs for the year, then last night we went down and dropped below $30,000 on Bitcoin. Is this a sign that Bitcoin's rally is in trouble? Or are we still on track to make a good push up towards 36,000, maybe 42,000? Hey, who knows? Maybe 50,000. We're going to talk about that a whole lot more in this show. We also have our DGen Friday. Crypto Archie will be joining the show at the end. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you go and smash that like button. And if you're new here, thank you so much for being here. I think we're 6 subscribers away from 3,600 subscribers, and then after that 400 away from that goal of 4,000 subscribers. Make sure you help us out if you can. It's free. Hit that subscribe button. We are one of the fastest growing crypto channels out there, and we also are the most generous crypto community, so make sure you are a part of this group. I'm joined by 2 fantastic co-hosts with, I'm assuming, completely fine cameras and microphones this morning, starting off with the Florida man, Mr. T Shroom. How you doing, T Shroom?
Oh man, I'm doing better than I deserve, Tim. Doing really, really good over here. It is actually Amanda's birthday today, so happy birthday, Amanda.
Happy
I know that
birthday.
she watches. I don't know that she comments very often, but she watches every now and then. A lot of the stuff is over her head. She'll admit that, but she's not super big into investing or crypto. She's kept her head down in the PT books, physical therapy books, for quite some time.
There we
So don't
go.
have a quote of the day today. I'm just, wishing her a happy birthday. We will be celebrating with friends tonight, and then we will be going out with her family out into the country to have a good time and celebrate out there with them. So that's going to be the next couple day outlook for me. But you can rest assured I'll definitely be keeping my nose here in the crypto space.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I don't have a quote of the day either, T-Shroom. So we're dropping the ball on quotes of the day. With all this computer fiasco, I did not have time. Like literally, we were down there playing with it, messing with it, and I
Mm-hmm.
got up here and signed in at like 8:55 or something. So not really that much time to spare. But it's okay, guys, because it's still going to be a good episode even without a quote of the day. We're joined by the Texas man this morning as well, Mr. Army Piper. Piper, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm grinding along, man. It's Friday. I can't complain. Trying to get this link out, trying to keep this channel running, and trying
Yeah.
to, just be a bro. Just be a bro. It's what I do, man.
Love
Yes,
it.
yes, yes. Every single morning comes with its own new battles. That's just life. It's just part of what happens. But this is also investing, bros. Where if there's not some sort of difficulty, what the heck are we even doing here? If things start getting too
That's
easy,
right.
that's how we know it's time to hang up the cleats. Well, let's get in and let's do some reading of names. And I do understand. The problems continue. There was something that glitched in chat. I don't know what happened, but the first comment that we can see is from Joe Nichols saying, chat's not updating, so probably not. You would assume that he's responding to somebody else. But what I'm looking at, that's the first chat. Of course, Amello Fellow says he was first, but without being able to verify that, I don't know. I don't know if we can really declare a winner, so we're just going to have to go with Joe Nickel is today's first commenter. Congratulations, Joe Nickel. You
Very
know,
nice. Wins
technicality or not, it
exactly.
is what
Wins
it
on a
is.
technicality.
Yeah. Following up after Joe Nickel, we had Crypto Pew Pew Cruz. See, he's right in the right spot. Crypto Pew Pew Pews is always a top 3 commenter, so things are looking okay. But special congratulations to Joe Nickel. I do think this is his first time being the first commenter, so congratulations. We're also joined by Yair Navarro, of course, the blue wrenched Amello Fellow, saying he sent a big message too. Man, I'm going to have to believe you. I don't know. We can't prove it, but I'll believe you. Remington Peralt is here. Who else do we have? Oh man, it's so different having this mouse and using a Mac because I get so used to the PC mouse and which way to scroll. Ooh, it's gonna be a fun morning. Mike Play is here as well. Ninja Glock is here. Remington Peralt is here. Mike Lowry with the Blue Wrench. Mike Play. Gia S. 88 Ace. Sativio Shiramoto is here. Top Dollar Friday, he says. That's pretty good. Who else do we have here this morning? OBC is here. Nancy Croy is here. Let's see here. A lot of the same names as we continue to scroll through. Crypto JMP is here, saying I'm here. Morning all. Happy Friday. Yes, happy Friday indeed. Crypto Trades, of course, is here. He wouldn't miss it for the world. Danny G is here. Let's go 5 more, and then we're gonna move on into the show. Dustin Singer is here. Tyler Main is here. Crypto Ben Franklin is here. RSan246 says hola. And the last name that I'm gonna read today, the very last name, it's going to be a brand new one. Sir Mugiwara is here. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I know there's a lot more, and if I did not read your name, I am so sorry. But doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means it's time to go ahead and move on into the show. Starting off with Army Piper bringing us the economic outlook, and I know there are some big things that he's going to talk about here. So, Piper, what are we looking at this morning? Give it to us straight.
All right, Tim, let's go ahead and take a look here. Starting off with the economic calendar, let's get over there. First of all, guys, this morning, unemployment rate came out. We were previously at 3.7. If you remember, we were at 3.5. Last month, we went up to 3.7, now pulling back down to 3.6, in line with the consensus. Forecast said we were going to be neutral. We actually came in better than the forecast. So, a little bullish that the unemployment rate's coming down, but I would like to have seen it come back to the 3.5 that we previously had. Non-farm payrolls coming in at 209,000. Previously was at 306,000. Consensus was at 225 and 250, and we didn't even come close to that one, really. So let's go ahead and jump in here and see what it says. It says it's the lowest reading since December of 2020, but remaining more than twice the 70K to 100K that was needed per month to keep up the growth in the working age population. Okay. So employment increased mostly in government. Go figure. 60,000 there. Local government was 32,000 of that. Healthcare and hospitals. Hey, shout out to all those people that work out there. They are the true heroes that have gotten us through the past couple of years. So employment in leisure and hospitality remains below its February 2020 level. Which is not good because that means that a lot of people may be cutting back on travel and stuff like that. And then looks like employment fell in retail trade. So people aren't buying as much right there, Tim. And that's what I'm seeing on that. Not the greatest of numbers for us to see.
No.
Average hourly earnings stayed static and neutral. And then participation rate staying static and neutral. So we're seeing a drop in unemployment, but we're also seeing a drop in the payrolls, which coming from retail and participation staying the same. So money not coming up at all. So no one's giving pay raises right now, it seems. Next week, guys, we're going to be watching for the big one. It's going to be the inflation rate month over month and the core inflation rate coming in. That's all going to be next week on July 12th. So let's go ahead and jump in here. Looking at Trueflation down 0.04%, coming in at 2.44. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have quite a few liquidations here on the schedule. $121 million, 97 million of that was in long liquidation. So that's what we're seeing there. Mostly in Bitcoin at 31 million being on that. So kicking it back over to you, Tim. Are you going to be doing FOMC or you want me to look at it?
Yeah, no, I don't have that pulled up here last second. I can tell you right now it's nothing. You can look at it. It's exactly where we left it yesterday if you want to pull it up.
Yep, I got it here, man. I got it. I got quick buttons for everything. Yeah, we're still sitting at 94.9%. So nothing really changing there. And I'm pretty sure if that's the same, all the others are the same. And we'll have to wait for next week for that CPI data and see what happens with the FOMC announcements. So kicking it back to you.
Yeah, I've got the fear and greed picked up here. If you guys want me to cover that, I've got it up
Let's
here
do
at 55. So not a huge change from yesterday, 56, but is trending more towards fear, so away from greed. And then the ads I got are for iPhones, which I haven't. I did buy an iPhone from Back Market, but it has been years. So I don't know what they're thinking is going on with me. But we love to take a look at the ads here. If you're just taking a,
Yeah,
because Fear
it
and
is
Greed
top
loves to
notch.
shill the ads.
Top notch ads definitely on the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index.
I got to
Thank you.
tell you, so I'm coordinating for our guest today, and he's actually live right now. So I was in
Yeah.
his chat talking to him, and he put up my chat. I'll see you soon on Investing Bros, and just talked about it. So he's getting ready
There
to
you go.
wrap his up, and he'll be coming over to join us. But yeah, I said I'm on a live while you're on a live, coordinating another live in your live chat. So
Ooh, that's
Liveception.
live inception right there, man. That's live inception right there. All right, well, let's jump over. Let's get into these charts. Of course, you guys know we always use Chart Prime. Special shout out to them. Check out our link down below if you guys want a discount. What is it? Today is the 7th, right?
Correct.
A couple more days or something. I'm not even going to say what it is. You know what? Those who know that you
That's
have
right.
2 days, today and tomorrow. I'm not even going to say what it is. We're just going to
Ooh.
go ahead and move on into the charts here. But Chart Prime, of course, is amazing. You guys can see I have 2 new yellow boxes. Those who've been watching day in and day out here for Investing Bros, you guys know that we have been tracing. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of them. That's how confident I am in getting them right back up. You guys, we've been watching this kind of rising trading channel. I turned it into dashed lines here because I do have a question mark about it. Of course, it's because we dropped down yesterday right there. Let me go and zoom in for you guys. We dropped down to that red line we've been talking about. Yes, we dipped a little bit below it, but we seem to have found support at that same range, which kind of begged the question. Is this actually a rising trading channel right now, or are we doing something a little different? Well, kind of gave you guys a little bit of a spoiler right there. We're going to go and use our boxes, and you guys will notice we have a lot of touches kind of in a more flat zone region. Of course, you guys know in technical analysis, we love using straight lines, but there's nothing magical about straight lines. And really, in reality, when you're looking at TA, you're looking at zones is the real meat and potatoes of TA. And right now we have 2 different zones, and they're actually flat. It's a little bit more than $1,000, but you're looking in the range somewhere here at the top end. Bitcoin's really wanting to stay above 29.8 or so. And again, we have some wicks that go above, but about 31 to 30. That's a little bit over $1,000 range, but it's not that far above it. This is a nice little pocket. We're getting a lot of accumulation here. And let's look at what the volume is doing. You guys can see outside of when we originally popped up into this, and then that one big wick. Do you guys remember? What was this wick from? What was the news event that caused such panic? Do you guys remember?
that was the
No.
SEC announcement that the ETFs were not up to par.
Gotcha.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, the ETF rejection is
Yeah.
the only serious amount of trading that has happened within this zone. You guys can see stupid low trading happening here for Bitcoin. The question is that a positive thing or is it a negative thing? As for right now, I think we got to lean still in the camp of positive. Yes, we did lose 30,000. Yes, we dropped below the rising level of support that was the ascending trading channel, but it only kind of helped us form the last 2 big movements. Yesterday's big move up to new year highs, then last night's move down back below 30,000. That's what kind of helps solidify, hey, this actually is more of a sideways trading channel than it is an ascending trading channel. And any good technical analyst needs to continue to update and refresh and keep thinking through. You don't get stuck in your ways. Anyone who says that just because we broke negative out of this ascending triangle and therefore we have to be bearish, well, take another look. Sometimes it's good to back out, take another look, reassess, and sure enough, this is exactly what we're seeing right now. And you guys can see several touches within these zones kind of solidifying this is what we see happening here. So now we got to move on to oscillators, seeing what we're doing down here. I'm on the 4-hour chart right now. It was not super low necessarily. Our RSI did get below 30. The chart prime oscillator did not get that low, but you guys can see there's been several bounces and touches with these oscillators not really being that low. This is, in fact, during this entire period, this is the lowest we've seen both the RSI and the chart prime oscillator, and we did get that green reversal triangle. So that's a positive sign that we are seeing this morning. Let's take a look at what the daily chart's doing. Let's see what our oscillators are doing on the daily chart here as well. You guys can see we talked about this before. I love seeing this. I cannot speak highly enough about what I think when you see the price action more go sideways for a period of time, but you do watch your oscillator start dropping down. That's reloading. Now, a lot of things could happen in the news. We're going to talk about that in the news. Not only the comments from JP Morgan, we've seen some things and some data points coming out in the stocks. I know T. Shroom's going to cover bonds. Or treasury yields rather, excuse me, and that's gonna play a factor in what we're seeing happen on Bitcoin. But when we're just looking at the Bitcoin chart here, we are seeing that there is some positivity on the charts. Let's pull up our market oracle and let's start with just the market oracle here. Starting off with our daily chart, we're still well above our dynamic reactor way down here. That would take a long time for us to get there. Let's go to the 4-hour chart and see where we are. Yeah, we're getting a little bit closer, but we're still above our 4-hour chart. You guys did see we briefly broke through the trend assistant that was green. So now we have one that is red. However, it kind of used it as nice support right there. So that is nice and clean. Let's take a look at our market dynamics. I love using these multi-time frames. Do I have all of them up though? Because I'm only seeing a green line. For some reason, am I only using nope, I'm using all of them. The 4-hour, 12-hour, one daily. Maybe I need to go out and get a bigger look here on the daily chart. Yeah, there's just a lot of 4-hour ones. There we go. We did come down here. Never mind. I'm zooming in here. We came back down, bounced off of that. My golden one is that's my 12-hour support. That was the most significant level. That's a 1 ranked right there. Just in case you guys didn't know, Chart Prime, when they make these multi-time frame support and resistance zones, they number them in terms of significance per time frame. Well, our gold ones, those are our 12-hour. This was the most significant support level, and sure enough, we bounced right off of it and are moving to the upside. So that's another positive sign. Yeah, we got a lot of levels below us, guys, still. We got levels above us. This is, again, 33.5 or so. 33.6 is one that we have definitely been keeping our eye on based off the fact that the 12-hour has a 5 over there. It's another level when we start to make a push. Watch for some hesitation. If we make the push, watch for some hesitation on there before maybe making a break up to 36,000. I'll say this. We kind of talk about this before I move on with some more technicals here. I want to kind of hark on the $36,000 that I have recently come to be. I don't want to say a pessimist, but kind of I am. Like I used to be that guy. I used to be the one that was the saying, guys, watch out for a $48,000 to $50,000 Bitcoin. And then a lot of people changed and kind of joined my side. And recently I've backed off. I've said, guys, I half wonder if 36 is going to be it. And this is what we're seeing happen right now. I'm going down to the 4-hour chart. What we're seeing happen with this sideways range with low volume trading within just about $1,000 range. This is kind of backing up my point, guys, even from a logical standpoint. We were talking about it pre-show this morning, T-Shirt and Piper and I. Why are we not breaking through? We've had a lot of things kind of pushing us up. We've had FUD break us down. Yeah, the bears aren't necessarily gaining control, but the bulls are not. Like, we've had every reason in the world for the bulls to go ahead and take control. They simply aren't. For that reason, I want you guys to logically think when/if we do finally break through this significant level of resistance and not just set a wick above it, but start closing candle bodies above 31,400 or so. Where's the bullish momentum coming from? We barely have enough bullish momentum to break out of this, let alone keep moving to the upside. I think there still could be something massive that comes into play that gives us a bullish push. But I'm just sitting here wondering at this point, guys, if we're going to have enough steam to make it past 36,000. I just don't necessarily have a lot of confidence that we can push any higher than that. And for those reasons, I'm kind of looking at the charts. I'm looking at the news, and I'm feeling more confident in my $36,000 top prediction that I've made. Again, is it possible we still make it to 42 or even 50? Possible? Yes, absolutely. But likely every single day, I think the answer is getting less and less likely that we make it above 36,000 before the real bull market starts in 2024. Let's take a look at one more thing here on Bitcoin, and then I'm going to move along. What time is it? 9:20. Yes, we're going to do a little bit shorter TA today because we have our DGen Friday today. Of course, that's always a positive thing. Let's go all the way back here to April 1st. I want to look at, even though we're now officially in quarter one, I want to take a look at what price action has done all throughout quarter two into where we are right now. And you guys will also see another positive sign. We came down here, didn't touch it perfectly, but came and found some support right here at the value area high. That is a positive thing. We definitely should be looking at that as a win. If we were to lose that level, I've said this before, I'm still confident that we can have some bullish price action as long as we stay, I would say right here above 28.4. That's actually a really downward price action. I think somewhere around here on 29,000, Worst case scenario, 28.4, you're still looking at higher lows. Again, staying above this blue line that's been an ascending line. If we go up to the daily chart here, staying above that line and not breaking through it would also be a positive thing. Of course, this price action more than likely won't drop all the way down here. It'll probably move sideways if we move to the downside. That's not what I'm predicting. I'm just saying if we move to the downside and break through. I'm still confident as long as we stay above those levels. If we were to lose this blue line, if we start losing this 28.4, then you start to wonder, was 31,000 the top for the summer? Are we in for a very long and boring and sideways fall and winter before we actually get some bullish momentum in 2024? That's what we're kind of looking at right now. So we will definitely keep you guys posted. But that's your Bitcoin TA for the day. Nothing necessarily special happening over here in altcoins. I know Piper's about to do Ethereum and XRP. Maybe he's going to change it up on us again. I always love when he changes it up. Cardano's kind of similar stuff we were looking at yesterday, guys. Just sitting here kind of boring. Again, I told you guys, if we get some bullish pressure on Bitcoin, maybe a pop up here to 38. I'm still looking, especially what we're looking at economy. We're going to talk about this news later. I'm holding even more confident that this box that I've made a prediction for Cardano, 18 to 14 cent region, it's looking more and more likely every single day. Of course, let's be positive, guys. It's Friday. Wouldn't you love to buy some Cardano at 18 to 14 cents? I know I am. I'm looking very forward to it. So don't be so negative. Let's not be pessimistic. Let's look at this as a good thing that we're going to get some great Cardano on sale. With that said, though, let's go ahead and throw it over to Piper and take a look at what Ethereum is doing this morning and anything else he's seeing that's popping off.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim. All right, taking a look here. Let's get into Ethereum here and have a look. See, looks. So you can see what happened here yesterday, guys. See what had happened was we had a little drop down here, broke below our upper trade band of the predictive ranges here. We did break down below what was support and made it into resistance. That pump up that we had yesterday, actually overnight, yesterday night, actually got a rejection right off that trend line there before coming down. You can see it wicked all the way down to the blue delta of the predictive ranges here. That's like 50% line in between the two gold trade bands there. And that was where it was at. If we go ahead and we pull up the fibs, take a look at what's also there. That's the 786 aligning perfectly with that delta there. So that is the bounce point that we got right now, though. It does look like we are fighting to get back above the dynamic reactor. We got a rejection on this last 4-hour candle here. Giving this that rejection, we do have the trend assist in the bright red, telling us that we probably got more downside coming here, guys. On the multi-kernel regression, this is a free indicator from Chart Prime here. We did get that down indicator there on Monday, and we've just continued to follow that down with the retest of the broken horizontal support there from the trend line. So let's go ahead and pull in and see what we're seeing on the oscillators with this, guys. Taking a look here on the oscillators, you can see that currently right now we are looking like oversold. We did get the ribbon twist, and we're coming out of that bullish zone, which is a bullish thing. We also got the reversal on the trend fusion oscillator, but we are not getting any of that engulfing that I like to see on the RSI Prime, guys. When I get those, I tend to be much more confident in the move. And the reason for that being is because money flow is not starting to curve yet. This blue wave that you see here inside of the trend fusion is money flow index, and it's still flat here. We're not getting that engulfing, and the fast mover and slow mover still pushing down despite the histogram coming up. That tells me that we might end up getting a divergence here, and it is possible we could come back for a double test on the 786 here. Nothing overly bullish, nothing overly bearish, little mixed signals. A lot of what we're seeing on the on Bitcoin too there. So let's go ahead and jump into XRP, guys. XRP telling me a little bit of a different story here. XRP, we did get the engulfing candlestick pattern that I like to see. We started into a consolidation here a little bit, but we still have a consolidation score of 0, so nothing overly concerning there. But if I go ahead and take a look at what's happening here, we did get this hidden divergence here that gave us the little move here. I'm suspecting that we might end up seeing another divergence pop in here. Just money flow still pushing down. Trend fusion's coming up a little bit, but not much. And again, we're starting to get that curvature of the fast moving average coming down again there. The one thing that's given me a little hope right now on XRP is that which could be some bad side, could be a little bit of downside and then some bullishness. How about that? Is that we are in this trading wedge right now. This is a descending wedge that we have going on here. I don't think we're going to come down to test the bottom support line of this wedge, but I could see us coming down to hit the 236, finish off that divergence that I was talking about on the oscillators, but ultimately giving us a breakout of this pattern to the upside when we do get it. I would be looking, if we break this white trend line right there and we get above it on the price action, so we come down here, we get up here, look for that retest. Could be a little bit lower than what the breakout was, but that's where I would be looking to get into a long on XRP. A little bit of hopium there to wrap out your Friday on some XRP, hashtag XRP Army.
There we go. There we go. Well, it is not time for a market open. However, I know we're going to be able to carry this into it as we move into our market open with T Shroom. Shroom, can we start with looking at those treasury yields? And by the time we get through those, we're more than likely going to be sitting at 9:30. The market will officially open. But I know this was one of the things that we saw on Twitter. I believe Caleb Franzen, one of our good friends, was the one that pointed out, but I think other people talked about it as well. Yesterday, when we had that spike up, it was off of a lot of news, but then the dip that came following was showing a lot of money flowing into these 10-year, 1-year treasury yields. Do you have anything to show us for that, T-shirt? And what are your thoughts about that?
Yes, absolutely. Going over to my screen, you can see I've got the 10-year pulled up here, guys. The markets are not open yet. They don't open for another 2 minutes. But what you can see is that on a weekly chart of the 10-year, it has broken out of a bull flag. Now, this means a couple of different things. And the bond market outside of monetary rate policy adjustments is just like supply and demand, right? But inside of policy adjustment periods, which we are very squarely in right now, meaning all those Fed rate hikes, that's what I'm referring to. The bond market actually reflects and predicts where interest rates might go in the future. And so this move, this breakout of this bull flag is actually predicting higher interest rates for the future, which basically translates into Jerome Powell is not bluffing when he says they're going to have 2 more rate hikes this year. And you know that's something that Tim and I have commented about. Tim specifically the other day had some comments saying, why so specific, Jerome? Because his rhetoric up until now, and a lot of the rhetoric of past federal chairmen for the Federal Reserve, have been very hesitant to make specific claims. Right? They like to kind of beat around the bush and say, "Oh, well, we're going to be guided by the data," and you know that is a smart move for federal chairmen. But Jerome kind of deviated from that and went ahead and said, "Yeah, we're 2 rate hikes for the rest of the year is kind of in the cards." Being much more specific, and the bond market is not calling his bluff. They're going to kind of go around and not fight the Fed. So these are all terms, these are all phrases, and this is all data that is encouraging me to say, I want to probably think twice before I'm buying more risk assets. Why is that? Because as bond yields go higher, folks are going to become a little bit more hesitant to go into risk assets, which means there's just limited upside. Now, that's just right now. That's July 7th, 2023, right? That's the moment we're living in. It's also defined and defined by the media cycle that we're in, right? And so there's a sentiment right now. That sentiment can change. We're about to read some stories that may be kind of indicating what's to come. But let's go a layer deeper here before we get into the market open. I'm also going to pull up the MOVE index. Now, this ETF was brought to us, to the Investing Bros, to our attention by Bill Noble. Now, Bill used to, I don't remember if he was a bond trader specifically back in the day, but this is a weekly chart here. I'll just get right to it. And this is showing a big candlestick this week, and on the daily chart it's even more pronounced. So let's take a look at that. You see a lot of downward movement, and this is again in the volatility index for the bond market as a whole. This is used to kind of show where prices might go in the future and emotional responses, and this is a very pronounced emotional response to the upside, predicting upside movement for interest rates in the future. So all of this again to say kind of a bearish note. The bond market is usually seen as smart money movements, so you want to take it seriously. However, just because you don't deploy new capital today or early next week doesn't mean that things can't change, that the situation can't change. As we saw here, a giant spike to the upside, right, in this index, and then it came right back down. And that was just over a matter of the spring here. So there's a lot of different factors to consider, but Piper and I felt that it was very important to kind of bring this to you guys' attention that the bond market was screaming yesterday, and it was screaming a very specific message, which is risk off. That can change, but right now, that's kind of what we're seeing in the tea leaves, as it were. Let's go ahead and get into our market open and check out energy. Energy coming in a little bit mixed. You got the ETF coming in here down 0.7, but the futures contracts are coming in up 0.5. So some strange disagreement there in the natural gas market. We'll leave that one alone. Oil coming down decidedly moderate, down 0.2%. Your indexes are coming in also undecided, but slightly to the downside here, as the NASDAQ is actually holding on the strongest, down only 0.03, whereas the S&P and the NASDAQ are down 0.1. Again, not really any kind of strong, confident moves in one side to the downside or the upside. So we'll go ahead and we'll probably circle back and check on that in a second. Right off the bat, I'm seeing Uniswap up 4%. Bitcoin is just barely down 0.3. I'm sorry, that's the futures contracts. Bitcoin proper spot is up 1.2 to 30,282 this morning. So getting a nice little recovery. I won't comment anymore because we've just had a pretty exhaustive analysis on that on Bitcoin and Ethereum. But moving on down, guys, I'm seeing green on the screen. We're seeing some healing from the selling off yesterday in the crypto markets. XRP up 1.2, AVAX up 2%, AGIX up 2.5, and FET up 2.6%. So your meme coins also seeing some nice upside there. Snake leading my watch list, at least. I got Snake, Pepe, and Doge for all you degens. Moving down into the metals, we've got gold and silver both seeing some upside this morning, gold more than silver. And in your mega cap tech stock watch list here, you are seeing Tesla kind of take the lead. Okay. So looking at the market open here, what did I say, right, guys, is that the bond market yesterday was screaming a specific message, risk off. What is the market doing? Generally ignoring that. When you're seeing Tesla leading the NASDAQ here, leading mega cap tech stocks, basically the NASDAQ, that is risk on, right? And folks are not even buying Microsoft and Apple, which are seen as the more conservative side of the NASDAQ, of the FANG stocks. So I would say that the market's kind of disagreeing with the bond market. Now, the stock market isn't necessarily where the smartest money is. That's arguably the bond market. But again, here, guys, just trying to give you a little bit of higher level analysis as we round out the week. Anything can happen through the rest of the trading hours here. But I'm just trying to give you my T-Shroom take here. NVIDIA, AMD, your chip makers are green on the day. And then you're taking a look back here. How are the bonds reacting to the market open? Seeing that the equity market's kind of calling their bluff here in the first 4 minutes of trading. Let's take a look. So the bond yields on the 10-year, the one that we were taking a look at that has broken out of a bull flag on the weekly, on the daily, it continues to rise. This is the yields, guys. It's up 0.5%, the bond yield for the 10-year Treasury note. So the 6-month and the 3-month and discontinuity there kind of disagreeing, but not really moved very much. Whereas the 2-year is coming down 0.7, coming down quite significantly, trying to make a run to potentially correct that yield curve. So we shall see. This is what you actually want to see. You want to see general movement down of the yield curve for the younger dated bonds and movement up for the older dated bonds to try to heal that inverted yield curve. I don't think this is anywhere near what kind of needs to happen in order to see a full recovery, as it were, if I was speaking in medical terms. But this is moving in the right direction generally this morning. Your Dixie's coming down, and then your IEF, which is an ETF of, actually, let's take a look at this. It's the IEF of the value of the 10-year bonds, 7 to 10 years specifically, but you can kind of assume it's the 10 years. So the value of these bonds is actually plummeted to almost a year low. So it's could put in a higher low here for the 10-year Treasury notes value of those bonds. But right now we're not seeing it come down to those lows that it put in back in March. Taking a look here at cannabis, you're seeing mixed. Cannabis. One day I'm going to put a video out to explain why this is on my watch list. I am actually pretty heavily invested in cannabis, and I do think that there's some upside there.
You invested on a personal
I've-
basis?
I'm heavily invested in cannabis also.
Yeah, more the commodity side, the personal consumption. Come on. Anyway.
Yeah, commodities. Yep.
So your mid cap tech stocks doing pretty well. Jenny had a monster day yesterday. I will go to that chart here in a second. Coinbase recovering I wouldn't even say recovering. It's continuing its movement to the upside. Again, guys, this one is the biggest middle finger, I'll go ahead and say it, to the bond market right here. It's calling its bluff, saying, hey, we don't buy it. We don't think that that the recession's ahead, that interest rates are going to go higher. We think that we should continue to buy risk assets. So continuing to disagree, especially C3.ai getting bought to the upside, as there is some stubbornness there in the markets trying to insist that risk assets are actually going to go higher. We shall see. Your big banks pretty much doing the same. Your oil producers a little less enthusiastically, but pretty much moving to the upside, minus ExxonMobil there. Well, that's going to be our market open. We're at 937. I said we'd go look at Jenny. We're going to look at Jenny. And look at this move to the upside. This is kind of like what NVIDIA looked like a couple weeks ago. Jenny, I don't know exactly. I don't think it was earnings. I think they just got some validation there from maybe a ratings agency, but has been able to break through this uptrending line of resistance and make a move for 8. I think it wicked close to 8, up to 771. So maybe it can make a move up to $8 per share. This baby was trading up at 24 not too long ago in September of 2021. So definitely do your own research, guys, before you start buying into anything. A lot of charts look like this in crypto, amazingly enough right now. But one thing you want to do is definitely do your own research and understand what Jenny actually is. But right now it's looking pretty bullish. I might be watching for a test back to some levels. Let me throw some, I might be looking back for it to test on the daily for it to come back and check in with this line of resistance that it had broken through to form its support, maybe somewhere around 680, maybe looking to take a position again. But anyway, that's Jenny. That's your market open. And the summary here is that the equities market is in discontinuity with the bond market, specifically the higher end of those risk assets, because you can see the Dow Jones and the S&P kind of agreeing, albeit not enthusiastically, begrudgingly and hesitantly. The Dow Jones and the S&P are agreeing with the bond market that prices should move to the downside, but the NASDAQ, not so fast, wanting to see some more blood, some more funds move into risk assets in the form mostly of crypto and Tesla. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and cut it off there, get into our community notes. And but Piper, did you have any thoughts on what the market's telling us? Do you feel like I hit all the points that you wanted in the bond coverage there? Oh, there's Archie. That's not
Archie
Piper.
Here.
I think I've appeared. Hey, you guys.
What's up, man? Hey, we're gonna bring real quick. We're gonna bring you on here in just a second. Here, Piper, you can go back to bro cam or something here real quick. Hello, Piper.
There he is, Crypto Archie.
Oh, we lost
more
Piper.
Than likely, Piper's having some.
There we go.
There we go.
Good?
There we go. Yeah, I was. Hey, I'm just trying to get stuff set up while you guys are, all back here behind the scenes, and you guys are randomly throwing it at me over there. So, So you asked about what now? T-shirt. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So more than likely, you were not able to. Just the bond markets. We're covering it. Do you feel?
The 10-year. I think the 10-year.
Who's right here? Is it the equities market this morning, or is it the bond market yesterday?
Man, I got to tell you, I'm very alert and watching right now what's going on with the 10-year, because that could be the cause. Especially when you look at the UK. We were talking this morning. The UK central bank said that they can see that they are going to hit a 7% interest rate, and that a hard landing is almost imminent. And so maybe we can get some insight from get some insight from Archie on that there here in a bit. But I definitely think that we do have a hard landing coming on the economy, and that will give a shakeup. I don't think we're going to hit new lows in crypto on Bitcoin, but there could be a pretty significant pullback sometime in the next quarter. So
there you go.
Boom.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think that the equities markets is the most manipulated market. It's kind of manipulated by definition because it's just this. It's almost like a little teddy bear that's getting thrown back and forth by the whims of hedge funds and large banks trading floors. Whereas the bond market, it moves with a little bit more sophistication and a little bit more conviction in one direction or another, seeing a lot more bigger multi-month swings versus names like Tesla and Meta that might just move 20-30% just in the span of 30 days. So that's also kind of where I'm placing my chips as well, Piper, with a little bit more hesitancy to take on more risk. But that is not necessarily what's going to be best for your portfolio if you're watching or listening. You may know something we don't. So stick to your guns, stick to your convictions, and stick to your trading system. That's for sure.
for sure. All right. It's about 7:42. So what we got now? Where are we heading?
Yeah, we will. So here's what we got to do. More than likely, Archie, we're gonna bring him on about 9:50 or so. Here in about like 8 minutes.
Okay.
Everyone, go ahead and smash that like button. Let's get up over 100 likes as we go into stream. T-Shroom, I know we have a couple of stories.
Yep.
Let's read the headlines and the headlines alone of every
Okay.
story except for our two big ones, and then we'll dive into those, and then we'll get Archie on here in a couple minutes.
Okay. All right. So some of the bigger headlines here, just to kind of run through quickly. Lightning Labs unveils Bitcoin tools for AI. They said we are in the realm of enabling use cases that weren't previously possible. Lightning Labs CEO Elizabeth Stark told CoinDesk. So some exciting movement there. Some names I love to see together: Bitcoin and AI. Here's kind of a PSA. Posted this in our Discord this morning. Multi-chain team confirms exploit across Phantom, Moonriver, and Doge chain bridges. So just something to be aware of. If you were a victim of this exploit, let us know. And then Sega executives ICE blockchain gaming plans calls play to earn boring. So Sega, the corporation, looks like they're getting out of that partnership that was kind of warming up to get into some of the gaming cryptos. So then you have this one, which is a little bit more meaty. We'll go ahead and skip that one for now and come back to it. But Alibaba launches AI tool to generate images from text. That has been done, but it is a remarkably a very Eastern company, Alibaba is. So that's something to note, is that AI is definitely on the rise in China. We've kind of had it here for a while, and our government has so graciously not banned it. But that has not necessarily been the case over in China and some of the other Asian countries that are a little more authoritarian of what technologies get disseminated to the public. So this is pretty big because Alibaba is very much integrated into the Chinese and to the Asian systems of communication. So that is going to be pretty big. And then another headline here: something just snapped. Consumer panic. Search for pawn shops near me. This would be a continuation in the validation of a narrative that's been ongoing, is that the American consumer may be showing weakness. And although jobs data does not show or indicate a recession, it could be actually the American consumer side that may be the first real canary in the cave mine, so to speak, of a recession. But then there's also some analysts who are saying that the strategist who called a recession after the regional banking crisis says it already happened and nobody noticed. So the recession is actually behind us, and all of our indicators are wrongly configured, are incorrectly configured to try to identify the recession because we already happened, and nobody really cared or knew. But one thing that is to note is that the heated debate about the U.S. recession is a moot point. The much bigger story is that a typical world recession has likely already started. So that's kind of the big one, and that is indicated, and people are believing that because global GDP growth is at 1.2%, which is anemic. That data from Oxford Economic Nowcast. So it's not negative, you'll notice, but it is anemic. It is very, very small, and that is not enough for the global economy not to be considered in a recession, according to Joshi. So that is something to note. And then the big stories for today: the SEC approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF is unlikely to be a game changer for crypto markets, says J.P. Morgan. And the reasons that they give are that spot Bitcoin ETF existed for some time outside of the U.S. in Canada and Europe, but it failed to attract larger investor interest. I won't try to debunk why that's false, but just reading the reasoning from JP Morgan. But spot ETFs are more likely than future-based ETFs to reflect real-time price, supply, and demand. And their approval in the U.S. would bring more liquidity and enhance price transparency in spot Bitcoin markets. And then the last reason, the introduction of a spot ETF could lead to a migration of trading activity and liquidity away from U.S. Bitcoin future markets, to the extent spot Bitcoin ETFs replace future-based Bitcoin ETFs. So I'll go ahead and open it up, and we'll get into one more story about Binance. But quickly, Tim, what are you thinking about this story here? Is J.P. Morgan, is Jamie Dimon's analysis onto something here, or is just FUD?
No, I mean, it's fun. First of all, it's Jamie Dimon and it's JP Morgan, the classic look this way while I go do this. I said this in pre-show, and I want the audience to hear this. This is their tactic. Hey, guys, this is terrible. Don't buy any because secretly we want to buy it all. But then when we get to new all-time highs and we're sitting at 70,000, 80,000, then you're going to hear JP Morgan say, hey, guys, these spot Bitcoin ETFs are phenomenal. Come buy them, namely the ones that we hold because we want to sell now because we want to take our profit and then dip back down and buy some more Bitcoin at lower prices. That's what they do. So that's my first response. Second of all, the response about Europe. First of all, Europe, whether or not the U.S. had been in a recession and it just really wasn't that bad, whether we're going to be in one or not, Europe has definitely been in one. Ain't nobody messing around with a lot of money in Europe right now. Yep. Second of all, there is way more money in the United States institutions than there are in Europe's institutions. So I think that while it's a credible thought and argument he's trying to make, it's just not accurate and it's not significant. The significance of the American spot ETFs, is going to be that they're coming in at a time that we're really going to see institutions become friendly. Second of all, there's a whole lot of money that's going to be going into them. And that's exactly why it's going to be a very big deal when America gets them.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Piper, what are you thinking about these headlines? Do you think that JP Morgan knows something that the rest of the world doesn't? Or do you think that it's just FUD, kind of what Tim was saying, to kind of manipulate
Totally
price?
Totally agree with Tim.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some graphics here, but they're very. Let me see if I can find one that's a little less grainy. Here we go. If you'll come over here and check out this this chart I've got pulled up here. This is not very zoomed in. Let me zoom in a little more. Thought I was a little more confident in my zooming abilities there. Evidently not. There we go. We can see it now. So let's see what year this was. This was 2018, so not the most up-to-date data, but you can kind of see this is assets under management. This is the amount of kind of money. So Europe does have a decent amount of assets as of 2018, 31%, but America kind of far and away here having the majority of 57%. So Thinking Ahead Institute, top 50 fund managers. So assets under management so ultimately just trying to quickly debunk that JP Morgan claim, but it's not a completely crazy claim, but it's something that there is definitely data out there to contrast with, but
yeah,
insane.
This has been a fun one. All right, well, let's go and bring on Archie here this morning as we come into the end of not only our week but of this Friday show. We're bringing in one of our experts in the DGen realm. First of all, Archie, I'm going to ask you two different questions. One, how are you doing? Number two, what are we looking at this week in the DGen world? Is it time to buy? Is it time to sell? Are there any gems out there that you're really excited about? Go ahead. What do you got for us?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm very good. Thank you guys for having me on. It's always good to partner with you guys on the Investing Bros. It's a really good combination between two channels. And second of all, I think it's always the time to be buying. I think, especially when you're not in the bull market and the halving is not already occurred. I think that is the time to be buying low caps. You hear quite a lot of people, they say buy low caps after the halving. Well, that's when they have the big moves. Yes, that's when they move parabolically. But if you buy before the halving, maybe they're already up 2, 3, 4x by the halving, and that makes a huge difference on the gains in the long run. I say it all the time, but a 2x is the difference between a 50x and a 100x. So if you buy in after the halving, you're getting in when a lot of the prices are already going to be higher than what they were perhaps now, or perhaps in November, December time when I was really buying in bulk. But yeah, the best time is always now, I think. You can look at the charts, and I 100% value the charts, and I value what people do when they look at the TA, but you've got to have a balanced approach. And right now, I think altcoins are at good levels to be buying. And, when Bitcoin's at 30K, if you're buying any altcoin that's pretty good, it's going to be very surprising if it's not worth more by 2025 than what it is right now.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Well, what are some of those coins that you're looking at this week that you kind of like?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can share my screen here if you want, and I can show you some of the projects. So I've got a few. It depends how many you guys want. I've got, I think, 4 projects. If that's good,
Yeah,
we can go through those. Okay. So first of all, this one's a no-brainer for me. Many people may know this one, but it's still very small in market cap, 21 million. This is Hello Token, Hello Labs. Now, this one is pretty big in terms of the hype factor. They're going to be having a TV series, kind of like a sink or swim type TV series, but for crypto projects. So I'm sure the people in the US will know how that works. You come on, you pitch your idea, and you've got these whales who decide whether or not they want to invest in your business or not, your Web3 business. You can see how there's a green or a red kind of, in or out type thing. And you can see that Altcoin Daily. You can see he's one of the judges. Now, there's a bit of controversial news with this project. They took off BitBoy. Now, I actually was against that decision. I thought BitBoy should have been on. And I'm not even a BitBoy maxi, right? I don't really watch his channel. I'm kind of neutral on the whole BitBoy thing. I don't watch him. I obviously went on around the blockchain, and that was amazing. But I thought that was a bad idea to take off BitBoy, because who's the guy in crypto who people know is brutally honest, controversial, polarizing? He's that type of figure, and that is the type of guy you want on a show like this. If you go back and you look at some of the shows that did well like this, they had people on like Piers Morgan, Donald Trump, people like that, polarizing figures, and they did very well. It got a lot of views. So ultimately, controversy sells. And I thought it would have been good to have a balance of judges on, people with different mindsets. But oh well, they took him off. I still think the project will do well, right? So ultimately, this is a entertainment Web3 project. They've got the arcade side of thing as well, which I think looks pretty good. They need to build on this more, bring out more games, but it's simple type of games. If you've looked at Nakamoto games, they're these types of games that you can play on the go, simple play to earn type games. Now, very early on in its development, and the reason why I'm so bullish on this is it's a new project. I think you're going to see a general trend towards newer gaming projects. People aren't going to just want to invest in Axie Infinity again or Sandbox again. They're going to want to be looking for the new upcoming ones, the next Galas, the next Sandboxes, the next Axie Infinities. And this one came out in 2022. So very new. There's really no limit on how high it can go, because its all-time high was just a few weeks ago. So this one for me is going to be really, really big. Should I move on to the next one, or do you want to?
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay. The next one that I'm looking at as well, very different to the one I just mentioned. This one is called Saucer Swap. The ticker for it is Source. Most people won't know this one. But what this is the DEX for HBAR. This is the main DEX for HBAR. So if you believe in HBAR, you think Hedera could be pretty big this cycle, and I'm one of those people who does believe that, then this could be a project that will explode. Essentially how I see DEXs, and I say this for all DEXs, no matter what project they are built on. whatever the base project does, you could expect the DEX to go on to do maybe triple or quadruple what that project does. So I'll give an example. Maybe Uniswap will do 3 times whatever Ethereum does this cycle. It's just a rough number that I came up with. It's not obviously exact, but it's just a general rule of thumb. If Ethereum does a 5x, maybe Uniswap will do a 15x. That's kind of how I see DEXs. And I would say the same with the smaller ones. So HBAR. If HBAR does a 20x this cycle, this one could go on to do a 60x or maybe even more. So I'm looking at this as a really great player for an upcoming DEX, supported by the HBAR Foundation. You can see that right there. So they've got like a, I don't know how to call it, partnership, whatever you want to call it. Also audited by Hacken, 10 out of 10 on security. So that's very good. And yeah, it's just simple. You can see the interface here, nothing crazy. You can basically swap HBAR tokens. And if you think the HBAR ecosystem is going to grow, you believe in that project, at $5 million in market cap, this could be a steal. This could 100x and go to $500 million, and it would still be pretty low for a DEX. So this one is the Easter egg. This is the one that I don't really talk about too much on my channel. So kind of like an exclusive pick, as you will. Yeah, but this one I think will do very well, and I've only covered it once, so very strong project, in my opinion. The next one that I'm looking at is, again, a DEX, but more of a lower risk one. This is the DEX for Avalanche, BNB, and Arbitrum. So it's not the main one for BNB, obviously PancakeSwap is, but it's also integrated with the BNB ecosystem. Now, I think Avalanche and Arbitrum could be pretty big outsiders this bull run. I don't like Arbitrum's tokenomics, but as a project and an ecosystem, I think it will grow pretty big this cycle, and could even make the top 10 in terms of market cap, right? So that's how I see this. And Trader Joe is $100 million in market cap. So when you combine 3 major blockchains, or layer 2s, layer 1, layer 0, however you want to see it, when you combine those 3, this one could be huge in terms of market cap. 100 million's a mid cap. It's not high. It's not a micro cap. But when you look at the last cycle, it did do pretty well. It did go all the way up to 500 million, but it was only launched in August 2021, according to CoinGecko. So it didn't have that run in April when many of the other projects did. So even as a brand new project, it got all the way up to $500 million in no time. So I'm thinking this cycle, particularly with the rise of Arbitrum and the fact that more people are looking towards layer 2s, this one could be, could make a really good investment. Obviously, none of these guys are financial advice. I'm just sharing projects that I like. But this DEX, the user interface is nice. It's not just trading tokens. You've got providing liquidity, staking, and also NFTs. So it's got the whole lot in terms of DeFi. I think DEXs are an undervalued category of crypto to target, because people now are looking towards DEXs. People are sick and tired of Coinbase and all these sanctions going on these exchanges. They're looking for alternatives. And when the bull run kicks in, you're going to see Uniswap fly, and people are going to look to others as well, not just Uniswap. So this is the project for me as well in terms of, a DEX pick.
Awesome.
Finally, I can go through the final one here, Kadena. Yeah. Proof of work project. A lot of people hate proof of work, but I don't. I think it's good, and it doesn't have to be so-called bad for the environment, right? It can be negligible in a way. It just depends on how these miners are actually doing what they're doing. And with Kadena, the mining is pretty efficient. It's not too bad for the environment. So obviously the SEC and all of those and the politicians, particularly Joe Biden, aren't going to complain about the miners. So this is a good thing for me. The fact that it is not going to, annoy all of the higher ups, even if you care about these things or not, it definitely makes a difference in terms of how the regulators view crypto. So it is good whether you're an environmentalist or not. And then in terms of what it does, it's just a layer 1. You can build on it. It's proof of work. It's got pretty good partnerships as well. And I believe there could even be someone who founded Bitcoin on the team. Now, I can't find it exactly, but somewhere in the About page. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. So, former organizations of our team members. So, some of the team members have been in these groups. So, you've got JP Morgan, you've got Apple, Microsoft, some big names there. But then you've also got Cardano and Bitcoin. So, I don't really know what this is about. Maybe Satoshi's on the Kadena team. Who knows? Not gonna speculate there, but it's interesting just to say the least. And the big thing with this one is it's down a lot from its all-time high. If you look at the chart there, you can see went to $4 billion in market cap, and it's currently sitting at only 100 million. So the multipliers are there, and all you're betting on for this one is it does go to all-time high. And if it does that, you're going to be very happy, right? It's at $27 all-time high. It's not even sitting at $1 right now. So very, very good.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, Kadena was one we were looking at here on the channel just a couple of weeks ago. So great picks. Archie, it is always great to have you in here. And again, looking forward to having you on again very soon. That entire team of you guys out there, I don't even know if all of you are in Dubai or if just a couple of you are, but you guys are fantastic. Love having you on here for this new DGen Friday tradition. With that said, guys, make sure you guys go follow Archie. Make sure you guys follow everyone from the DGen Gem Hunters, and we're going to see them again next week. With that said, though, guys, that's all we have for you guys in this show, in this week. So make sure, if you have not already, smash that like button. I did see, shout out to Poppy, his first time here. Love having anyone who's new. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. We cover everything you need to know about crypto, about stocks. We do TA, we do news. And again, on these Fridays, we get some DGen Gem Hunters in here as well. This is your one-stop shop, and it's the most generous crypto community in all of YouTube. With that said, though, guys, you guys have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you Monday morning, same time, same place. And again, remember, next week, Piper starts that afternoon, evening TA special live show. You don't want to miss it. Love you guys. See you next week.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shouted out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms News got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.